Hey everybody, this is Ryan from the future. Just wanted to say apologies for it being a huge gap in our episodes. Life happens, things happen. But we are back on a relatively regular recording schedule and should be able to put out, episodes back on a relatively regular basis. So that being said, apologies again and hope you enjoy.
That's when Soulja Boy created that bullshit gaming system that just had a bunch of pirated content on it. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that one.
Yeah. Yeah, he was selling the Soulja Boy station or whatever.
What?
I don't know whatever it was called. And it was essentially like an emulator that had a bunch of Nintendo and all these other classic games on it.
Wow.
Yeah, and then he got sued for a bunch of copyright infringement.
I see where the outside voice is coming from. It's the neighbors up on the hill. I don't know if you can see their legs.
Oh.
But yeah. If we need to, we'll close the windows.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah. But that's impressive that the mic is picking them up from at least 100 feet away.
Well, whoever sung that song,
Kiss Me
voices
Through the
carry.
Phone? Oh. Carry on my wayward son.
No, not carry on my wayward son.
Oh.
I don't remember the words, but I just know that voices carry is one of the main lyrics. I don't know who
CK will probably tell us.
I don't know who sung the original song,
Yeah.
but I know the cover, which was by a band called Gangrene.
Gangrene.
Very punk rock.
Okay.
They also did a cover of Crocodile Rock.
I love Crocodile Rock. You remember when Rock was young?
Yeah, because me and Susie were having so much fun.
Oh, man.
Is that all you can got?
Holding hands and skipping stones.
Okay,
Come on.
I was like, hold on. I'm like, you gotta continue this on.
I know. My bad.
Anyway,
Holding hands and skipping stones.
so anyway, the Kiss Me Through the Phone.
Yes.
It was whatever, was it Sway in the Morning or whatever radio show that he does, or internet show that he does. He had this is an old
I know what
video.
you're talking about. I don't. I think it's,
I think
it's
it-
Sway
no,
with somebody, but
Wait, no, it's not Sway. It's the one with Charlemagne that's on it.
that's newer, isn't it?
Ish.
Because Sway had his own show. Or
He did.
has his own show.
Yes, it's not Sway. It was whoever I forget the name of the show. It's gonna kill me that I can't remember. But whatever radio show they have, Soulja Boy was on it, and he was talking about "Kiss Me Through the Phone" song, and then he was saying that Drake stole that beat for a different song. And there's the real popular clip of Soulja Boy going Drake.
Oh man, poor Soldier Boy.
I saw him perform once
Did you?
at Indiana.
Oh wow,
It was
awful.
the saddest thing I've ever seen.
I bet.
It was almost as bad as Mike Posner.
Oh,
Well, it was after that song already hit.
watch me crank out.
So I don't know what.
I don't know anything beyond that, and obviously, "Kiss Me Through the Phone."
Yeah, I think that was it.
I don't know any.
I'm sure there was more, but
Soulja Boy's songs.
he had an album.
Did he?
Yeah, he had a full-on album.
Jeez, poor dude. Whoever produced that,
It was
probably kicking
him. It was
themselves.
him.
Sunglasses.
Didn't he have the shutter shades? Was that him?
That was
I know Kanye did it.
LMFAO.
Soulja Boy.
Soul Food.
By the way, I love soul food. Soul food.
I love Soul Plane.
Fuck, I keep searching soul food now. Soulja Boy.
Soulja Boy album cover. This one.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Okay, what do we got? Crank That, Kiss Me Through the Phone, and then a bunch of other ones I've never heard. Oh, Pretty Boy Swag, we know that one. The Rick and Morty song,
That's Soulja Boy?
Turn My Swag On.
Oh my
Forgot
God.
about that. Remember when swag was a fun word?
It's still a fun word.
I don't think I've heard that
You don't hang around.
He also has a song called Booty
fun
Meat.
people.
I'm not mad about that.
Booty meat?
Yeah.
Is that any relation to Booty Sweat?
I hope not.
Oh,
Um,
all you Tropic Thunder fans out there.
it's a dude disguised as a dude playing another dude.
I know what duty is. I love that movie. That's probably one of my favorite movies.
When RDJ was on Joe Rogan, that like re-sparked the whole like conversation of like, because that was the last time blackface happened that I'm aware of on like a large scale.
Probably, yeah. I can't think of anything else. Yeah.
Because other than that, like the only like equivalent would have been like white chicks, and
Whiteface.
I think that was it.
Hell yeah.
That I can recall.
Of the most recent past, yes.
Yeah,
I feel like those are the only two.
I'm sure there's probably more, but I
Probably.
just don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they really kind of re-sparked that whole like conversation of like should RDJ be canceled?
It was funny because like I think Jamie Foxx came to his side. Like there's so many black comedians and actors and actresses who are just like, that's RDJ. Like he performed it so well, he gets a pass.
Well, and also there was also the conversation of the fact that that entire movie is like supposed to be very tongue in cheek.
Yes.
On just like the ridiculousness of actors.
Absolutely.
Um,
It was yeah. What oh my god, I'm blanking on his name.
Jack Black.
No.
Are you talking about
Mel
the
Brooks.
cast? Oh.
Mel Brooks. So like that movie was like in the realm of like what Mel Brooks did back then with, you know, like Spaceballs and Blazing Saddles, like all those very like we don't talk about it, but we're gonna poke fun at it. I feel like in some comparison, not so much the race thing as Blazing Saddles had, but like
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm like
yeah, not so much the race thing that Blazing Saddles has, but like poking fun at like the fact that there is this happening in our day-to-day life and it's just flowing by like nobody's paying attention to it. So
All right, fair. I can get
Yeah.
behind that.
I love that movie. Blazing Saddles and Tropic Thunder.
I haven't watched Blazing Saddles in a while.
Oh my god, I watched it 2 weeks ago.
That's like one of Marissa's favorite movies.
Oh my god, I could probably sit there and watch it with her and quote the whole thing.
That and My Cousin Vinny.
I love My Cousin Vinny. Oh my god, my biological clock is ticking. Oh, my God. Marissa Tomei for life. Oh my god. Oh my god. If she ever listens to this, I love you.
I want it to be clear.
I just want it to be clear. I've loved you since My Cousin Vinny, hands down, queen.
Yes, queen, slay
Yes,
queen.
Yes.
Okay.
All day.
So we're Marissa Tomei fans.
Oh yeah.
Or stans. Sorry, we stan
We're
Marissa Tomei.
We stan her?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's like a hardcore fan, like ride or die type of thing.
That's a real thing?
It's a term, yes.
It's like a now term or?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, then we're stans.
Welcome to the internet.
Jesus.
Get on it.
Oh my god. Yeah, we're stans of Marissa Tomei.
You ever heard the term stan?
Never heard the term stan.
It might be an acronym for something. I don't know, but that's what the thing is.
Why
It's-
can't it just be fan? What does the ST have to do with it?
I don't know.
So totally aroused and neurotic? I don't
How?
stan. I don't why can't you just be a fan?
I mean, you are, but it's like an extra fan. It's like an overzealous
I
fan.
feel like that's stupid.
It's an overzealous or obsessive fan of a particular celebrity.
This is ridiculous. This is borderline stalker.
So, like, I stan.
I stand with you.
Yeah.
I'll stand by you.
No, like, who do we stand? We stan
Yes.
Keanu
Keanu
Reeves.
Reeves.
Jinx.
Yummy soda.
And we stan Marissa
Ryan
Tomei
Reynolds.
and Ryan Reynolds.
Yes.
But not The Rock.
Not The Rock. You hate The Rock.
I don't hate The Rock.
You dislike The Rock.
I think The Rock is just overrated.
Overrated.
And then, yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
Here's your new word of the day.
I am a Marissa Tomei stan.
There you go.
She's in my zeitgeist.
Well, no.
Damn it.
She's not really in the zeitgeist anymore. God. But Ryan Reynolds is.
Ryan Reynolds is okay.
And Keanu Reeves.
Would Marissa? Why would she not be in the zeitgeist?
Because she's not like a consistent like
She was in
thing
Spider-Man.
Yes.
There have been 3
There's been like 9.
with
3,
with,
4, 5, 6,
Tom Holland.
7.
with Tom Holland.
There hasn't been 3 with Tom Holland.
Yes,
There's
there
been
has.
2.
No,
What's the third one?
the most
Homecoming,
recent one.
Far From Home.
Yeah, and No Way Home.
Oh, No Way Home.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's right.
Nerd
Or apparently not.
or not nerd.
Not nerd.
You're what's nard?
Um,
You're a nard.
But speaking of not nerds,
Jinx.
you wanted to
Oh man,
bitch about something today?
Okay, so I've calmed down since.
probably for the better.
Probably for the better. I even texted my boss and said, "Hey, I'm going to rewrite that email. Take a firm stand, but not be as aggressive and not accusatory."
Do you need me to look over this one?
No. It'll be fine. Like I got everything out that I wanted to vent out, and I just sent it to my boss, and he was like, "I understand. Like, let's rethink this. We'll talk about it Monday." And I was like, "Cool." And as you know, I texted you. And I was like, "I'm fucking pissed." Right. So.
Well, first you go, are you going to work out today? You're like, no, I'm mad. Never mind. I do need to work out.
Yeah.
I'm pissed.
Yeah. No, I said no. And then I said, I'm mad. And then I was just like, all right, I need to work out. Yeah. So for context, oh, that's so cute. I need to get a picture of this. Hold on.
Frankie is laying underneath the hammock,
Underneath it. He's so cute. I love him.
which is, I'm not quite sure why there's an inside hammock, but
Because I don't want it outside getting sun bleached. Duh. Oh my God. Look at those eyes.
this is painfully
I
cute.
got it before you looked that way.
That's
Oh my
awesome.
God. Okay, so for context, I work in production. Won't tell you what, and we can't look me up. But I worked a 2-day gig, and the first day didn't do anything. Typical. Second day, worked probably for about 5 hours. Now, mind you, the backstory to this is they set up all of the equipment while I wasn't there. So I have very little idea as to what is ours, but I understand how our equipment works for the most part. Come end of day yesterday, the jib, for those of you who don't know what a jib is, it's a long black arm crane that holds a camera. The jib operator decided to take off once he heard a rap, and a rap is an end of the day. Now, him being the only one that heard it, decided to take off immediately. Didn't tell anybody, just kind of bounced. The rest of us, mind you, there's a crew of like 20 guys on set, are still gathering ourselves, making sure cameras are where they need to be, monitors are where they need to be, lights are where they need to be. No one else has left the set. Literally no one has left. I get the call saying, hey, prompter's a wrap. Thanks for the hard work. We'll see you next time. Cool. Let me figure out what's mine, what I need to take back. Also, I need to get my monitor off the jib camera. Walking over, looking for the jib guy. He's not there. Talk to the other guy. He does color and contrast, and he's working on camera as well. He's part of the camera crew. I go, hey, Ryan, do you know where the jib dude is?
Not me.
Not you, this Ryan. And he goes, no, I don't know where he is. And I go, okay, I was like, I need help getting my monitor off the camera. We all know if you're in your own department, you don't touch anybody else's stuff. That's just the rule on set. Like, if you're cameras, you don't touch lights. If you're lights, you don't touch cameras. If you're me, you don't touch somebody else's stuff, right? Cool. The jib guy was nowhere to be found. The camera guys, there was 3 left. They said, yeah, sure, we'll help you get it off. Cool. I trust you guys. You guys work with cameras all the time. I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to get my thing. So they pulled the camera off the jib. I pulled my slider and my monitor off. That was it. They put the camera on an Apple box. Apple box is just a box. You can't really put anything in it, but you can stand on it or place things on it. And we left it at that. Mind you, I broke down equipment for 2.5 hours by myself when nobody was there. I had to patch all my cables back, all my monitors back, all my kickstands back. Fine. No big deal, right? Loaded so much equipment into my truck, took it home, thought nothing of it. That was Wednesday. I get a call and a text from my boss this morning saying, hey, so the Jib operator is telling us that you took his stuff. And I'm like, what could I have possibly taken from the Jib? It's a big black crane. Where would I go with it?
You just load it up into the back of your truck, and
it's not like you need a van, like a moving van, to get everything in there. So I'm going to read you a text.
I imagine. Hold on, before you read anything, this is. Be careful what you put out there. So make sure that there are no names. Can't assume anybody.
I got it.
Et cetera, et cetera.
So Jib operator, won't say his name, even though it's says to my boss, your boy pulled your promoter, didn't even spell prompter right. Your boy pulled your promoter from my Jib after Rap Wednesday after I had left. So without my being present. Nothing had been communicated regarding this need prior, nor during, nor after. I hadn't found out until the morning when I was to be ready to shoot. This, I hope you are aware, is highly unusual and unprofessional. I would never adjust, move, nor disassemble, or really even touch your equipment without your permission or at the very least informing you. Nor would I guess, would you without the same. Referring to my boss, not me. There is no excuse for this. Now referring to me. I don't know if your guy is brand new to the business, but this would still be unacceptable even then. He had at one point mentioned his years of experience during a previous incident at the last shoot when he showed signs of not knowing procedures nor accurate equipment knowledge. But when you have to, try to convince someone when you're being questioned by telling them you have years of experience, then obviously your experience hasn't done you enough good. Also, that's not how that went down. This could have been a dangerous liability on set, which I'm sure you wouldn't have wanted to be responsible for. I certainly wouldn't have, nor am I happy that I was potentially faced with having to be. Terrible run-on sentence.
Okay, we're not here to debate grammar, okay?
Right. I take my job seriously, as well as all safety issues and care of mine and others' equipment, and I expect the same from all my coworkers. And as a result of, again, not knowing the equipment of the company he works for, he took with him some vital pieces of mounting hardware from the Jib, which required extra work and scrambling to locate a substitute and ended up costing valuable time and adding undue pressure to the production and crew. This hardware must be returned right away, and I'd recommend he offer his apologies to blank and blank, the directors of the shoot. Thanks. Ready for the vital pieces of equipment?
Okay, hold on. Yeah, go ahead. Do that first.
2 3/8, 16ths, or half-inch bolts.
Okay, so because I don't know this stuff. So the Jib is the crane that holds the camera,
Right.
and then your monitor
Goes on the camera.
is mounted onto the camera. So when you take off this monitor, with this monitor mounted, I'm assuming the mounting brackets are essentially for the monitor alone. Would that be correct?
90%. We have a plate that attaches to our monitor that the camera sits on.
Okay.
So in order to get the whole rig of mine off, the camera has to be plucked up, set down or held, and then I can remove the whole sliding plate plus my monitor.
Okay. And then the camera gets remounted.
Yes.
So with these two screws, Screwgate 2022.
Yes.
Without those being on the Jib, what do those? So without the monitor being there, what do these two screws do for the Jib?
These screws will attach to another mounting plate so that he can put his camera back on.
Okay, so not having these screws is a legitimate thing.
100%.
Okay.
I definitely don't deny that was an important piece.
Okay.
However, the stress that he put on how important they were, and in which the text regarded me as the person who took them, they're easily replaceable or findable both within studio and back at our office. Now, that being said, like I said, I wasn't there a week ago when everything got built.
Yeah.
We have the same screws on that setup. So, easy miscommunication or mishap, I took them because they're the exact same the ones that we have.
Okay.
Why would I not? It's on our equipment. It should stay on our equipment.
Okay.
Now, knowing what I know now, 100% my responsibility. Shared responsibility because the jib operator who helped mount it in the first place was not there to tell me these were his.
Okay. So conflict resolution Ryan's coming coming out now.
Yeah.
So in a proactive sense, what like would it have been like you to talk to the the director or producer or somebody like on a higher up to reach out to see where this dude went?
Well, I did. I reached out to all the camera people who were his buddies.
Okay.
And I said, hey, I need the Jib Guy. And the response was, we don't know where he went.
Okay. Did anybody reach out to him?
I doubt it.
Okay.
Because their initial response was, we can help you take it off.
Okay.
Now, when those screws came out, I asked them, I go, are these mine? And they go, I don't know.
Okay. So I'm trying to even think now. All right. Then would it have behooved you to potentially just leave them?
I could have. It wouldn't have upset my boss if I would have left them. Mind you, I'm breaking everything down by myself at this point, beyond them helping me get the rig off the jib. I got nobody to talk to. I'm trying to just break
I'm just
down
trying to leave.
7 monitors, 6 kickstands, and a ton of cable. So, yes, I could have left them, but my mindset was bring all our stuff home.
Yeah, which is fair. I
Yeah.
think that's a fair point.
Right.
So, okay. And so would these screws be something that would just would these just exist on set?
100%.
Like as an extra spare parts type of thing?
They actually do exist on set because the conflict was resolved because they found an extra set of screws on set.
Okay. I'd be curious if anybody reaches out to the producers or the director or whatever to see like how big of an issue was this?
Apparently, because I talked to my boss today, my boss said that everybody is upset on stage or on set, but not directly because of me.
They're just frustrated at the
They're
situation.
just frustrated. Like they've been frustrated with this whole shoot for the last week and a half.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So they're just
tensions are high.
So they're just one other thing that we have to deal with.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, it seems like in all fairness, I don't think there's a person to blame that it was a communication issue.
Yeah.
Though I'll take your word on this that it does seem weird that the person operating that is the sole operator to this device, I guess, just kind of leaves before everybody else.
Yeah.
Unless there was some weird union things. I know unions are fucking weird.
Right.
When
No,
it comes
we were
to
well
shows.
under. The show officially, when I got my wrap, was 5:30. We were there at 8, so 8 to 6. Basically, that's their 10-hour day. Technically 7 because we have a half hour, or 6:30 because we have an hour lunch.
Okay.
Right. So union is 10 hours. We weren't at the 10 hour. If anything, we're
A couple hours under.
8 hour or 9 hour, 8 hour mark, 8.5 hour mark. Right.
Yeah.
Still plenty of time for him not to take off. Right.
Huh.
Also, if your guys don't know where you're at, like the coloring guy, the color contrast guy was like, it's unusual of him to just disappear.
All right.
So, again, complete lack of communication on all ends. I won't say I was not part of it, right? But it's hard to communicate with somebody you don't have access to, and they kind of disappear.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
So in my rage or fury, I wrote my boss an email venting what I wanted to say. It was very aggressive.
I can imagine.
I did tell you, my boss asked me how do you want to respond? And I said with violence. And he said, but how do you really want to respond? And I said, I'll write an email. So I wrote an email.
And this is to
This is to my boss. I didn't send it out because he was like, vent to me first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, who would this email be sent to?
I was going to send it to production.
Okay.
To the production company.
Gotcha.
Which I still may send to the production company after I rewrite it. Now that I've calmed myself. But essentially, my email was, I claimed responsibility for taking the screws, as I had not known they were mine. I apologized to the production company. But then I also went on the offense and said, this dude disappeared. He's claiming, no communication, but how do you communicate with somebody who doesn't stay on set to be able to communicate? He attacks my experience. He attacks my character, essentially saying I stole his equipment. I won't tolerate that. I won't tolerate being accused of thievery.
Yeah.
Now, it wasn't in that nice of context, but I've calmed myself, and I also am aware that the studio has security cameras.
Yeah.
All they need to do is watch the footage of him, find him leaving before everyone else, and then also find the 3 guys that helped me take my stuff off.
I think like the good way to go about that, it would be like, I think admitting some level of fault is always nice.
Yeah.
Right. Which you essentially said you did. And be like, yeah, these, I would almost frame it as like, we were wrapped as I was going to break down like our equipment. I was looking for X, this guy who operates this thing from some assistance. I talked to his crew, I guess.
Yeah, or the other camera guys on set.
Like the other camera guys, nobody was able, or no one knew where he was. But they offered to help, right? Kind of.
Yeah.
Like be like, the camera people asked to help.
Yeah.
And like, I asked if this was ours. They didn't know, and I just assumed that this was ours. My bad.
Yeah.
That type of thing. So that way it makes it look like at least you want to throw in like that you made effort to like
to
try
reach
and
out
figure it
yeah.
out. And then you can even throw in, be like, when I asked where he was, they said that he already left, before everybody else was wrapped. So, we couldn't find him, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Oh, that's definitely going in the email, or if it's not, it's already in the email.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like I said, I claimed responsibility. I was like, look, I'm at fault for taking these. I explained that, I asked where he was. I needed assistance. They had no idea, but they offered assistance to get it off. And that's where it went with that.
And that's somebody being messages like that are just somebody being really pissy. When you start throwing in like liability, I wouldn't want that. I'm sure you wouldn't want that either.
Yeah.
Like, trying to like raise the stakes of the situation.
Right. Yeah. Beyond what it actually is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which like, if it was something that was like a vital piece that was like, this tens of thousands of dollars worth of like camera.
Yeah. Like if I took the camera lens.
Yeah. Like I think, or if it was like something that like risked the integrity of the entire unit.
Yeah.
Which also, if there was 2 screws that was the case, we got a bigger problem to be like said, just from like an engineering sense.
Way bigger.
But
way bigger.
But like if it was some like massively integral part to everything, like maybe that would be a little bit more of like a grounds of like raising the the quote unquote severity of the situation. But
Right.
it doesn't seem like it was all that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Frustrating. We can all agree on that.
Agreed.
But yeah, to be like, this is unreasonable.
Yeah.
So what was the deal with the whole experience thing?
So
Like why are you
so that got me up in arms because when I was dealing with the color contrast guy last time, again, I brought monitors I was given from my company. I don't own the company. I work for the company. And at this specific shoot, they were complaining that the pixels on the monitor were too jagged and that I needed to smooth it out. And I was telling them it's not the pixels, like it's not the monitor's problem, it's the software. The software just has an output like that.
Yeah.
And so with the output being what it is, it looks like what are the Minecraft blocks, right?
So it was looking pixelated.
So it was looking pixelated because of the software, but not because of the monitors. So I was explaining to Jib Guy and Color Guy that there's literally nothing I can do because the software sends it that way. That's it. Like, maybe I could change the font, but we're halfway into the shoot. At this point, I would have to reformat everything. So I'm not going to. Give me a better solution. Well, you could get better monitors, was their response. I go, great. I can plan that for the future. What can we do right now to fix this?
What are these monitors? 480p?
Yeah, 480p.
Are they seriously?
Yeah.
I mean, that is pretty low resolution.
But they're high brights. So like I'm only putting words on there.
Yeah, it's also text.
It's also text. It's
Which
only text.
Blocky as is.
And I put it in large enough font that it's never an issue, right? So I asked, again, I go, give me a solution. Well, you could change the font. I go, again, I could, but we're mid-shoot. I would have to reformat everything. What else can I do? Well, I don't know, probably upgrade it or do an upconverter to SDI or HDMI. I'm like, great. Do you have one? No. Okay, so we're back to square one. Well, why don't you have one? Because it wasn't ordered, because we've never had an issue with somebody complaining about the text. Like, well, I'm complaining. Great. You're the color contrast guy who works with the cameras. The talent reads that monitor. You don't read that monitor. Offer me a solution.
Was anybody complaining about it?
No one
just this one person?
It, no one reading it complained about it.
Okay.
No one. And so I was asking them, what is your issue with the monitor? Well, I just think it looks bad.
Okay.
Great. You're not reading it.
It's also not going on anything else that anybody's seeing.
Yeah. So what is the issue? I don't understand. Like, give me a solution. Otherwise, shut up and go back to your job. I said that. Probably shouldn't have, but I said that because at this point they're just complaining and not offering a solution. Ryan walks away. Jib Guy comes to me later and he goes, "Hey man, I don't think he was, trying to like talk smack about your monitors or like, but he was just trying to tell you like it looks pixelated." And I go, "Great, I understand that, but there's nothing I can do about it. As I've already explained, it's the software." He goes, "No, I think it's the monitor." And I go, "Okay, so if it's the monitor, how do you address that we fix it?"
So I'm going to offer a suggestion. You just leave it alone when nonsense like this hops up.
I wanted to, but they were in my face.
Are they in your face screaming at you? Be like, your monitor's too low resolution.
Yes. Yes, believe it or not, they were literally standing there while I'm adjusting it, and they're like, your monitor's a bad... Like, we're standing face to face. Your monitor's a bad resolution. Then we had that conversation. I walked back to my table to leave it alone. I'm like, cool. You can't give me a solution. We're done. It's resolved. Jib Guy comes over to my table. He's 20 feet away from me, comes over to my table to continue the conversation. And I'm looking at him like, this is over. Why are you here? This doesn't involve you whatsoever. You literally control the crane. You don't control the pixelation. You don't control the text. You don't control the coloring.
Well, from the sounds of it, nobody controls the pixelation.
Nobody, except for this guy. Okay? So I told him, he's like, you don't have to get upset about it. And I go, I'm upset because I kept getting complaints and criticism with no offers of a solution right now. You kept telling me to get new monitors. Great. I don't work for the company. Write the owner a letter or I'll pass it on. You kept telling me we need an up converter. Great. Go buy one because we were never asked for one because no reader has a problem with it.
Yeah.
That was the issue. So for him to throw that in there of him it wasn't even involving him, is just like, why are you going after me? Like, is it because
maybe he doesn't like your face?
Which is fine. Which is fine. He doesn't have to look at it, right? Like he should worry about the crane. He doesn't have to look back this way or walk 20 feet to pick up another conversation with me.
All right.
So this is 100% on him as to why like I have issues with it.
You got beef with the Jib Guy.
Yeah, like I didn't before, but it's just like you have no reason to defend this guy. Zero reason. Like I wasn't upset at him because he was he wasn't coming at me, he was coming at the monitor, but he wasn't offering solutions. So it was just frustrating to hear it over and over. Like I don't want him to repeat himself. Like it gets us nowhere. And then for him to walk 20 feet to continue the conversation, like, dude, go away. Go away. Go back to your little jib chair. sit there and wait for orders.
Man, you don't gotta be condescending to the Jib boy.
Oh, he earned it.
Jib Jones.
Because the Jib guy before him, I loved.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I love the Jib guy. Every Jib guy I know, I have appreciated, respected, because they've always helped me with the monitor solutions to get them on, to get them off. They will walk up to me and go, "Hey, are you done for the day?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm done for the week, actually. Can we pull this off?" They'll stick around. This guy, on the other hand, has some other thing on his mind, which, sure, if it's, stressing him out, I get it, but don't come after me.
Yeah.
Don't come after me. I promise you it won't end well. Don't come after me.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
I wanted to punch him in his face.
Did you at some point bring up your experience to like combat this situation, or
The previous situation?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I had told him I've been doing this. I said this. I've been doing this for 10 years and no one's complained about the text.
Okay. Which is fine. I feel like it's a fair
Like, it's not, I've been
defense.
doing this for 10 years. I know everything there is to know about pixelation and monitors and upgrades. And, like, I really don't. I don't care. But in my years of experience, no one has complained about the square pixel on the word.
Is this monitor that you have, I mean, you may or may not even know this answer. Is this like the standard fare, or are there like
No, there's
newer versions?
ones now, but
Okay.
they're expensive. Again, I don't own the company. I'm working with what I'm
Can you go to like Costco and pick up like a
They can go to Costco.
like a monitor? Is it like the same as like a computer monitor?
No.
Okay.
It could be, but not the ones we're using.
Gotcha.
Right.
So what's like special about this that what's unique about these monitors?
Nothing. They're old. They're just boxy and they fit everywhere. They're 15, 24, and 12 inch.
Oh, I mean like in the sense of like what's unique about these monitors to make them like specific for like productions?
Nothing. They're just like, that's just what the company has.
They're just like essentially they're essentially a computer monitor,
could,
or
yeah.
like a TV.
Yeah. Yeah. I could literally lay the TV because it's the glass that reflects the words off.
Oh,
so you read
yes,
it.
that's right.
Literally, there's nothing special about these monitors.
Okay.
Except for maybe, well, not even that, because you could put bracketry on a computer monitor. So
Yeah.
there's nothing special about them. There's no reason to have them aside from the company already has them and they're not willing to spend money on new monitors.
Gotcha. Okay, that's fair.
Which is out of my control.
Those have to be old as hell.
They're old as shit.
If they're that low res.
They're old as shit.
Because like 1080 was becoming the standard in
Yeah.
like 2008.
Yeah, no, they're older than that. Yeah, they're old as shit. They only take composite. And,
Oh, no.
And RDI, or what's the big plug?
The RGB, no, not RGB. RGB?
No,
Fuck, VGA.
VGA. Yeah. So they only take VGA and composite cable, right? Like, that's how old they are. That's what I'm given. I literally can't do anything else.
That's true. And I don't even think you can't even upconvert that, because the monitor, it doesn't matter what signal you send into it.
It doesn't.
It's only going to show up as whatever the resolution of the screen is.
100%.
So
100%.
like the only thing that would change, the only thing that could make it better is literally having to get a better monitor.
100%.
So
Thank you.
yeah,
This is what I've been trying to tell them.
I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe you just caught him on a bad day. And
he made my day bad. He made my Friday bad.
not your Friday.
My Friday. I wasn't going to do shit today. And then I ended up working out, which was still good because it was a good workout.
That was a good workout.
Yeah.
Right. Do you have any other frustrating?
Fuck that guy.
Fuck Jib Boy.
Yeah, fuck Jib Boy. But no, that's my frustration for the day. That was me venting. I appreciate you letting me vent to you and everybody else I vented to today. Thank you guys. Yeah, no, I've since calmed down, and I realize, like, if any action wants to be taken against me, all I literally have to say is check the security feed.
I mean, I feel like a well-worded email can get that across like perfectly well. And my guess is that if this guy is willing to send an email to your company,
It wasn't an email, it was a text.
Oh,
Can you believe that shit?
okay. So if he's willing to write a text to your boss, how did you even get your boss's number?
It's on the call sheet.
Oh, okay. Well,
Which I'm like, why didn't you reach out to me, pussy? I'm on the call sheet,
yeah,
pussy.
especially going straight to your boss, which makes me believe that this person probably is a pain in the ass in other situations as well.
Yeah.
So I'd be surprised if there weren't other people who are like, ugh, Jib Guy again.
Yeah. Well, what's funny, and like, not that this is involved with my situation, but like when we're on set, the directors are calling him by name, telling him to push or pull. He's not listening. He doesn't listen. He's always on his phone.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, like they called action, and you're just sitting there like, come on, man.
Come on,
Do your
man.
job. I do mine.
That's what matters,
Bitch.
man. Hey, look,
had to throw
if
that in
you
there.
got a clean track record. People like you. People will
That's what I'm
come
saying.
to your defense.
That's what I'm saying. Like a well-worded email, some ownership.
Have you ever worked with like this production like team before?
For 4 years.
Oh, okay. Oh,
For 4 years.
It's the same
It's the same
people.
company.
Oh.
This is the one I travel with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They request me by name. Not that it's a brag, but that's how they know me. They're like, yeah, we want ET.
Yeah. Okay. Do they call you ET?
They do.
Even so
Even on set.
you're on nickname basis.
Even on set, the big boss walks up and he goes, "Good morning, ET." Like, I love it.
No, you're good. You're fine.
Exactly. I love it.
They're gonna be like ET. They're like Eric. Who's Eric? Eric.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Pretty much.
ET.
Oh, ET.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
we like that guy.
No, he's fine.
Yeah.
He's like, get your shit together.
Yeah.
You're a dime a dozen, boy.
Yeah.
Jib boy.
Literally everyone in that office, I'm on a first name, nickname basis with.
All right, you're good. What's not to like about you anyway?
There's a lot.
Your commanding presence.
I do have a commanding presence. Somebody told me that this morning, and then they proceeded to compare me to Captain Morgan by putting
Oh, because you put your foot up on boxes?
on a box. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. They're like, you do this. And I was like, when have I ever done that? And I'm trying to think, have I ever done that?
Probably.
I probably have done that.
It's like such a generic coach thing to do.
So
You have
subconscious.
Yeah. It's that and like we were saying yesterday about holding the
Holding a
PVC
PVC
pipe.
I'm so glad I throw mine when I'm done with it. Should I just throw it on the floor?
It's such a common thing. Like I don't know if I've ever referenced this before here, but if I have, sorry, you're gonna hear it again.
Yeah.
But when I took an L2, or when I took my L2, one of the big things that they made note of was like, let go of the PVC pipe.
Yeah.
And because the people in my little group when we would do like breakouts, they were like constantly like holding on to the PVC pipe while trying to demonstrate stuff and like being visibly frustrated the fact that the thing that's in their hand is in the way of them coaching.
Yes.
But it's like it's such a common new coach thing to walk around with it in your hand because it like gives you something to do.
Yeah.
And so last night we were kind of commenting because I was just poking fun a little bit at the person that was coaching because they just wouldn't set it down.
No, they held it the whole
Almost
class.
the entire time. It was
I think it was the whole class.
I left beforehand, but it was just kind of funny because it's like it's so common.
Let it go. Let it go.
So if you're a new coach, like put the PVC pipe down.
Yeah. Once you're done showing the movement, put it away.
And I'm guilty of it too. Like the other day we were doing like snatches and I would like notice myself like walking around like a walking stick.
I've
and
done
then,
that.
like,
I take that back. I've done it.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
It's like habitual for some
Yeah.
reason. And then I was like, what am I doing? And then set it down. And then almost immediately tripped on it.
Yeah.
Like an idiot.
I do that. Like I'll catch myself. Not that I catch myself like, oh, what an idiot. I'm holding a stick. I'll catch myself because somebody's doing something and I'll put it down so I can show them how to do it with their PVC or their barbell. And I'm like, where'd mine go?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Then you're like, hey, let me borrow your
Yeah, let
your
me borrow
PVC
that
pipe
real
really
quick. Yeah.
You're not using it.
Yeah.
So
It's such a funny thing.
it's weird. It's weird, but it's not. It's super common.
You
which
think
is-
it's like it's similar to like how when people were trying to quit cigarettes, they like keep something in their hand or like they chew gum instead to like keep themselves distracted?
1,000%.
Yeah.
Well, it's like maybe not 1,000%. Maybe like 500.
Okay.
Let's not get crazy here. Well, I know with like smoking, for example, there's the habit that is
Yeah.
being built on that is so you have like the oral fixation thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the part of like having like something in your mouth. So like that's where like
Giggity.
gum comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes like the hand thing, like the fidgeting, like the arm motion. So like you'll notice a lot of times like
Yeah.
people who used to smoke or are in the process of quitting, like if they have like water with them or drink with them, they're like really consistent on like taking sips, taking drinks because of this like habit of like pulling the cigarette to their mouth. It's super weird how like our brains work that way.
Yeah, it's like we have to distract ourselves by distracting ourselves.
Well, it's not so much a distraction, but it's more so like the fact that something has become so habitual, it's become like an ingrained like movement.
So are we breaking the habit or are we changing the habit?
Okay, calm down because I know exactly where you're going with that. I will not succumb. It's neither of those.
Mm-hmm.
Neither.
Either.
It's neither one nor the other. But it's because it's become such a it's become so habitual that we almost instinctually find other things to like qualm that habit. It's almost like almost like OCD-esque, where you like either have to have like you tend to see people like chewing on straws, especially if they are like out or something like that, chew on like the straw, chew on gum, fairly consistent like drinking, just from like the habit of like I said, like something in your hand going to your mouth. But then the other part to it that's weird is like the lifestyle habits of it as well. And so there's almost like anxiety that gets induced when you don't have the thing that you used to do.
Yeah.
So when I was quitting, when I was in the process of quitting smoking, the interesting thing was like when I would get into my car, because I was like so accustomed to like get in my car, get my stuff going, start driving, like have a cigarette. And like when I stopped smoking, I like had this like weird like anxiety of like, what do I do?
What do I do with
it was like, what do I do with my hands? Like, what's going on? And that's effectively the time that I also started drinking coffee, because I didn't normally drink coffee.
Yeah.
And it was like literally because I would like drive, like, this is when I was doing like some of the community college stuff. And I would like drive, go grab like a coffee, and then like drink my coffee like habitually on my way to school. It was super weird.
Yeah. It's weird habits that we pick up. Weird habits.
Yeah, and it's I guess like kind of somewhat speaking on the body at this point, like bring it into some of the fitness world. And you see this shit all of the time too, and it's really funky like how ingrained things can be. So like one of the girls that I work with is does like roller derby, and so because of like she's been doing roller derby for so long that when we do certain movements, like I have to remember to cue her to like change position, because she'll default to the position that she'll go in for roller derby.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're not on skates. Stop that. Like, stop doing what you're doing. Obviously I say more than that, but but because that's what her body's so used to doing, she'll just default to it.
Right.
It's like, with like CrossFit, we tend to see a lot of people like tend to sit in their toes when they do movements.
Right.
Or they like don't know how to like hinge at the hips. So they like tend to squat more. It's weird, but it's like this new experience or new movement or a new like stimulus for the body. Like you just default to your normal or what's known.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So like all of the runners that I work with, which for some reason I'm just picking up all of the runners
Again?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Again. I mean, I'm not mad at it, but
were a runner, boy.
I'm not mad at it because they need so much work.
Yeah.
But almost all of them are like the first like while of us going like working together has been teaching them how to put their weight in their like heels or or even just midfoot.
Yeah.
Because they'll all just immediately default to their toes because they're so quad heavy. And like teach them how to feel their butt, because half of them like have no idea what like a glute squeeze feels like.
Yeah.
Or their hamstrings. So that's a wild ride.
Yeah. That's always that feeling's always fun to teach. Like, I can't feel it. And you have to put them in a position, and then you go, okay, I want you to do this motion, and like, oh,
Yeah.
well, that's new. It's like, well, yeah. I mean, it shouldn't be, but yeah, yeah. That's what you should feel.
I started working with one of the massage therapists, and I had to teach her how to hip hinge.
Yeah.
And because I remember we were all kind of like shooting the shit. It was like a bunch of us in the room, and I made a comment about it, and she was like, she's like, I don't know what that means. And I'm like, here, it's this. And I showed it. And then one of the other, like a massage therapist showed it. And then she like went to go try and do it and like couldn't move her hips. And I was like, oh, your world's about to get rocked by teaching you how to bend at your waist. Like, this is insane.
It's insane, but I'm starting to see it's a lot more common than I thought.
It's so common.
Yeah.
It's crazy how now we're lucky in that with CrossFit, it's the hip hinge. Mm-hmm. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, it's literally bending at your waist. Think of like a deadlift, an RDL position, or if you want to imagine, if you're older, you want to imagine like a drinking bird. It's like kind of that concept. So you're rotating from your hips. But it's wildly, but we're lucky in like CrossFit because we do it so often that people like, you kind of like have to figure it out very quickly.
Yes.
And then once you kind of like feel what that's like, it's like kind of like riding a bike. Like you just kind of know how to do it from there for the most part. But for people who like are brand new coming in or have never like done like practice weightlifting, not Olympic lifting, but just like lifting weights.
Yeah.
It's a very new like sensation. I remember this guy that I used to work with in Chicago who like, I mean, it took me forever to teach him how to bend at his waist.
Yeah.
Like forever, to a point where like, I was like, he was like, are we going to do like barbell stuff? And I was like, yes. When you can actually figure this out.
Eventually.
I'm like, when you've like learned this movement, we 1,000% can. But like, one, it was my ignorance as a new trainer. Like I didn't have a good toolbox of cues to help him out, or all of the experience needed to be able to help him out in that regard. So it took longer than it probably should have. He eventually got it, but man, that was a wild ride because what you usually find is that a lot of people will just bend from their back.
Yes.
So they'll like start the motion and you're like, oh, you're right there. You could see the light at the end of the tunnel. You're like so close, like a couple more inches, and you're going to be in the movement that I want you to do. And then all of a sudden their lower back just like, and it just like bends. And you're like, so close. Damn it. Almost there.
Yeah. Yeah. I had something similar to that this morning with the devil's press. In hindsight, I probably should have just made him do kettlebell swings to teach him that position. Because he found it once I explained it to him, but it took a while.
Yeah.
And so in hindsight, I probably should have just had him do kettlebell swings.
That's also, so we were talking about, I was talking about this when I covered a class the other day and we were doing dumbbell cleans. Mm-hmm. And so everyone kept asking like, is it from the floor? And I was like, yes, but, and I'm like, let me demonstrate something. And I was like showing him, I'm like, I myself don't have the mobility, which is crazy because I'm fairly mobile.
You're pretty mobile, yeah.
To be able to reach the floor with the dumbbells while maintaining a neutral spine. Like my back has to bend.
I'm with you on that. It's like unless I go super knees forward, I can't reach.
Yeah, like you have to like almost squat.
Yeah.
Like low bar squatted essentially.
Yes.
And so I was like, if you can't do this, I'm like, even I can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want you to go from like the hang. And so there was a couple of people who were trying, and I was like, no.
Yes.
I'm like, all right, so all of you, I'm like, I want you to think of it. Don't worry about the floor, but think about like where the bar would be, like mid shin type of thing. Because I knew everyone in the class at least could do that much.
Yeah.
Which is great, right? And it like saved their back as we went through that. But like the devil press, in case you're not sure, you don't know what that is, it's essentially like hold on to a pair of dumbbells, do a burpee, and then essentially do a double dumbbell snatch. So from ground to overhead in one movement.
Yeah.
And it's I would argue that's a very advanced move.
Oh, I agree.
As simple as it seems, like the mechanics of what you have to do with your body to make it like somewhat effective, without like
hurting yourself,
blowing up your back in its entirety.
Yeah.
It's really up there in like understanding how your body moves.
I hate it. I hate that movement.
I don't mind it if you teach it well.
Yeah.
Because like
I like the single arm version of it.
It's a lot easier.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot easier to do well.
Yeah.
I think with the double press, the way that I like to teach it is kind of like a burpee kettlebell swing.
Yeah.
Essentially. That's kind of what you have to do anyway.
That's how I explained it this morning.
So like I was watching some people do it today or like later on, and they were essentially doing like the burpee and then leaning over pretty aggressively with some of them were rounding their back pretty rough, and kind of doing almost like a clean from the floor.
Yeah.
And so the way that I like to teach this one is almost like you go into like hands are on the dumbbells the entire time. So you do your burpee. When you kick your feet up, you don't kick your feet up all the way up to where your hands are, kind of what you tend to see with like burpees.
Yes.
And you keep them a little bit further back, and you essentially like hike the dumbbells back like you're going to do a kettlebell swing, and then essentially bring them up and overhead from there. That more often than not tends to put people in a pretty decent position, assuming they know how to get into that position, maintain rigidity well.
Right. One of the alternatives to that is I had them do the burpee, not as far to hike it, but somewhere in between, kind of deadlift it, and then perform a kettlebell swing.
Yeah. I think that's a good alternative too.
Yeah.
It's slower.
But it's saved their back. Like I was seeing a rainbow into a rigid line. So I was like, cool, that's what I wanted. So
it works.
yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Today's workout was gross.
I did not like it. Not ours. Ours was fun, but the programmed one was.
Even though we did wall balls 2 days in a row on accident.
You know what? I didn't mind it. I thought my legs would be a lot more fried.
I felt better today than I did yesterday.
I agree.
Like significantly.
I agree. I think today's wall balls were easier.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Because I was doing like 5 to 8 yesterday.
Yeah, on yesterday's workout.
Yeah, and then today I hit all 11 unbroken.
Yeah, same.
And then I just did 10s.
I tried
10 and then 15.
I tried to catch you, and I did 15, and then when I saw you were finishing on my last set of 15, I was like, screw it. I'll just not take my time, but I'll change my pace so I'm not dying.
Like, never mind.
Yeah. Yeah, because like when I was working out with you, like I told you wall balls was my weakness. Now I love wall balls. I feel like I could hit 15s continuously through a workout.
Ugh. My wall balls have gotten so much worse as time has progressed.
Well, you're a runner boy.
Well, this was even before that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like I remember at my peak, we did a Karen.
Yeah.
And I think I did like 115 or something like that.
Unbroken?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I was like, I'm going unbroken. Like that was the goal. Like me and one of the other guys were like, we're gonna go unbroken. Like tell you cannot do it anymore.
Yeah.
Was the goal.
That's nuts.
And so yeah, I think I hit like 110, over 100 for sure, somewhere around there. And I was so pissed because the way that we had it set up is like when you break, because we were trying to force people to do like massive sets.
Yeah.
And so if you broke, you got to go for a run, which is the worst as well.
Yeah.
So I like completely fatigued out. And I'm fairly confident in saying that I missed one of the last, like that last rep. And I was like, whoops.
Yeah.
And I had to go for this like horrendous trot to try and like, it was like a short run. It was like a 200 or something, but I was like just dead leg the entire time.
Oh, God.
And then finish it up. So I did Karen in 2 sets.
Yeah, that's impressive. I think the fastest I've ever done Karen RX was like 808.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't tested it in years just because I sucked at wall balls. Like I had no rhythm. I had no breathing control. Like I just burnt out. Like I would hit 25 and then like 5s.
It's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
But
10 sets of 15 is way easier now.
It's true. Well, you know what's interesting? When we did this was like a while ago when we were doing like the bigger like group workouts and stuff for like, the quote unquote competitor training.
Yeah.
We
our competitor group.
Yeah. There was a workout that we did once, and I remember like I think Mikey and George were in the class that had like wall balls, and they were doing like monstrous sets.
Yeah.
And I ended up doing like breaking them up pretty aggressively.
Yeah.
I think it was like maybe like 15 or 20 or something like that. Because it was a huge set. And I was like behind them by like a couple seconds.
Yeah.
By like doing a short one, literally like letting the ball drop, take like that half step back, breathe, and then go straight back into it. And they were all like, what the hell did you do? Like, did you cut reps?
Yeah.
Or like, what's going on? I was like, no, I'm like, I don't, like, it's just overall, like my pace was
smoother,
about the same with you.
Yeah.
Doing less sets and feeling essentially less fatigued.
Yeah.
It was kind of an interesting like practice.
I don't remember that one. I feel like I was there, but I don't remember it.
You were at pretty much every one.
I was.
I don't. I have no idea what it was, but
God, I remember the one with the ring muscle ups and the bar muscle ups, and I substituted pull ups, and we all tore. It was nasty.
there were some horrendous workouts that we were doing.
Oh, those are fun though. Like those were fun training days.
Especially when we had like that big group coming.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, we need to bring that back.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if we could. I wonder if we.
I thought you already asked.
No, I wanted to bring the cardio bodybuilding stuff to the gym, but
Ah.
it just doesn't make sense to fit it in.
Yeah.
Though I was contemplating because I'm gonna take over for one of the Saturdays.
Yeah, next Saturday.
Yeah, and Sarah was asking. She was like, "Do you want to write the workout for it?" Which I didn't know that she wrote those.
Yes.
So I was like, "Ooh, maybe." And I was like, maybe I can force my cardio bodybuilding workouts into this. But then I was like, oh, wait, it's a partner workout, so I don't know how this is going to. Though
It's still possible.
it could. I would have to I would really have to sit there and think about it because it would be a logistical nightmare.
Yes.
100%
100%.
to try and do too many of these things back to back. But the one thing that I thought was interesting, or that's interesting, one of the guys was like, he's like, do it as like two, like A team versus B team.
Ooh.
So it's like one giant workout rather than like just a partner workout.
Yeah.
So, but I was like, well, I'm like, okay,
That would also be a logistical nightmare.
it would be maybe. I might sit and think on that one because that might be fun to do. Like if there's like a big class and it's like, all right, like we have 6 people in group A, 6 people in group B, or however it is,
It'd probably be 8 and 8.
8 and 8, whatever. Seriously, Frankie? Okay, well, hopefully that one. If he hears, we took the bone away because he was making a lot of noise,
Slobbering all over the bone. And now we're down.
and now he grabs a squeaky toy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but I might think on that of like if there is a way. Okay, sorry, dude.
Oh, he's not gonna let that one go as easy.
Okay, bud.
That's his baby. Oh, he's gonna hate Uncle Ryan.
It's fair. I'm sorry, bud. I'm sorry, buddy. See, the trick if you're trying to get your dog's mouth open is
Grab the jowls.
well, you grab their like jowls and like curl it onto their teeth,
Mm-hmm.
and then just kind of gently like squeeze.
Yeah,
because it's uncomfortable.
it's like going to the dentist.
And they'll just kind of open their mouth.
Like, ugh.
I know. I'm sorry, bud. But yeah, anyway, I might try and figure that out because I think that might be fun if I can come up with a way that like regardless of how many people are in class
Yeah.
to like create like an A/B squad that like pit together.
That could be fun.
It might be an interesting one.
Yeah.
Either that or I'm just gonna say fuck that and
Just do a workout.
just do a normal partner workout.
I've got that one written that I sent you. We could
You do.
we could brain tease that one.
I might just steal that.
You might as well.
See, who knows?
Just maybe like change it up like because it's partnered. Because I think I have it as 20 minutes. Maybe make it like I don't know. Maybe split it up into 2 workouts and.
Yeah, I want to do something different. I'm going to go back and look at like what the partner workouts have been
Yeah.
and see if I can come up with
They're all the same.
they're all similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, see if I can do something like a little bit
I
different.
feel like they're all like just 30-minute long workouts.
I mean, yeah, that's usually what it is.
But like with our creativity, I mean, like we've done it before. We've separated like 3 8-minute AMRAPs or like 4 6-minute AMRAPs and with like 2-minute rest in between. Like, and that still crushes your soul.
You know what I might do? Depending. I did a partner Fantasyland workout once.
What in the hell?
You ever see this is OG, this is old, well, not OG, but like old school CrossFit stuff back when CrossFit was cool.
Fantasy.
So Rich Froning did this workout called Fantasyland, which was 20. Let's see if I remember these numbers right. It's 21, 15, 9 pull-ups, thrusters, and then it was like 18, 12, 9 or something like that, or 15, 12, 9, something like that. I think it was 15, 12, 6. Whatever that breakdown usually is. Chest to bar pull-ups.
Yeah.
Thrusters at 115.
Higher weight.
And then it was 963 muscle ups, 135.
I vaguely remember this workout.
So I remember I tried to do that by myself once, and that took forever. Like alone, that was a rough workout. And then, so then we were like, okay, because we used to do like partner workouts at my old gym, and we're like, all right, let's not do that as an individual one. Let's make it a partner workout.
Yeah.
So then me and Steven did that one together, and that was still a horrendous workout.
Which is weird because I can see you both crushing that together.
Yes, except at that point he sucked ass at thrusters. He was
hard to see Steven sucking at anything.
It was wild.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a couple things. I also beat him. I beat him a lot at one point in time.
At one point in time.
Yeah, not anymore. He will destroy. He will destroy me and
He's
everything.
a monster.
But anyway, besides the point. So that might be a fun one to like kind of think about something along those lines. But it'll just depend. Like I got to see what I don't know what I haven't looked into what the workouts are for like the rest of the week. So I don't want to like overkill anything.
They've got Sunday to recover.
Well,
I'm sure Monday will be snatches again.
but we also don't know what Friday is going to be.
Oh, that's true.
So like I can essentially look at Monday through Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what Friday is going to be.
So you have to adjust accordingly.
So I'm going to have to like probably write up something.
Thursday night.
Like I'll write something up
Yeah.
and then see what comes out for Friday, make an adjustment, and then throw it in. Or just make it up on Friday. That's fine too. It's not that hard to do.
Yeah.
Since this is it's nice because it's like I don't have to necessarily think about like any structured programming on this one because it's just like it's a sweat fest.
Yes.
So that makes the decision making process that much easier.
Of course.
Which is fine, whatever.
You're getting the side eye.
I know, it's fair. He's mad at me. What was the other thing I wanted to say? I can't remember. Oh. So I want to try. So this is what I want to talk about when we were talking about running.
Mm-hmm.
So I am like becoming more and more solidified in my view of how to train for a long distance run with like the heart rate time thing that I did, because I'm noticing. So I'm noticing this like trend, right? And I kind of already knew this existed from like prior work with like endurance teams, but like the runners are so dogmatic with the way that they go, like more often than not with the way that they go about their running. Of you need to have, they speak in mileage per day, mileage per week, increasing mileage per week. You need to hit this amount of miles.
I've heard that. Yeah.
At this point to say that you're even ready to run a marathon. You know, and it's like this very consistent structure of like, you know, short run, fartleks, which I actually don't hear that term too much anymore. It's
fartleks?
Fartleks. It's a Swedish word.
Those are two American words right there.
Fartlick. It's spelt funny too. There's a random K somewhere in there.
At the end?
No, actually. I think it ends in a C.
Farklick.
Fartlick. I don't remember. Anyway, point is, it's essentially like an interval run. So it's like so you're going to run for 5 miles and it's like a 5 minute fast, 2 minute slow, or, you know, a mile, half mile fast, half mile slow, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever variation you want to throw into it. But, and then there's like the Saturday long run, and like you have the recovery run. And then maybe sometimes people incorporate like a different type of like speed run or a tempo run, whatever. But it's usually very consistent across the board for almost like everybody that I've ever talked to when it comes to like running.
Yeah.
And the people that I work with, like they're really beating themselves up, and I'm like, it's really hard to break this cycle. Cause there's like one of the guys that I worked with, like he hired a coach, which actually I'm going to go meet with the coach sometime next week, which I'm very excited about. Cause he's got an interesting concept about how to go about this he'll do like 3, maybe 4 runs a week.
Yeah.
And it's not completely, I need to find out more, but from what I've gathered, it's not completely about like specific mileage or like specific mileage for the week. And he had one of my guys running for like running it based on like the intensity of the run. Which I thought was pretty cool. So I was like, all right, I'm curious to see what this guy's got to say. But I'm finding like even he was like, or my client was like, you know, I didn't get my all of my miles in this week. He's like, you know, I'm just afraid that I'm going to get worse. And I'm like, that's not how this. It's not really how this works.
You don't immediately just decay.
Yeah. like it doesn't just completely go away. Like, I'm like, your capacity is there.
Yeah.
Like, you can run that.
But I mean, that's a common thing across all sports, really. Like if I took 2 days off CrossFit, like, oh my God, I don't want my engine to die. It's like, it's not going to die. It's maybe a day slower, but it's not going to die. Like,
Yeah. Well, but with like CrossFit, with like most strength sports, there's the concept of deload.
Yes.
Exists within cycles. And
is there not the concept of deload in running?
Sometimes.
Okay.
But not that much.
Okay.
At least from what I've seen.
Yeah.
I am not a running coach, nor am I an endurance coach.
You're just a runner boy.
So I can't speak on all aspects of it. I'm sure it exists, but from most of the people that I've worked with, that's almost never the case. It's like, here's a 16-week plan. You're going to do these runs the entire 16 weeks. Sometimes there's like slower weeks, but you're almost always like, what I've seen is like just very consistent in like building your mileage. Sometimes it'll stay stagnant, but it'll almost always is like increasing until before the race. Then it drops off to like recover, which is crazy. But anyway, besides the point. And so I was like, that's not exactly how this works. And so for today, my dude is just like, he's beat to shit. Like, he walked in and I'm like, oh, you don't look good today.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just exhausted. I am tired. And I was like, so I was like going through the process of like, how's your food? How's your, the kind of the main things, like how's your hydration? How are you recovering? How's your sleep? For the most part, I like kind of checked the boxes, though his eating could be a lot better. And I was like, what have you been doing this week for your running? Cause he's contemplating training for like doing a marathon. So he's kind of training for one.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like off the script when it comes to like a standard training plan.
Okay.
Or the plan that he was on. So he was like doing some runs with a friend, but he did like 2 different like speed workouts. Like, one was a track day, which he went like 1,000%. He went like almost 100%.
Jesus.
Which he shouldn't have. And then he did like another sprint workout that was like essentially hill repeats. And again, just like kind of went too hard. And so that on top of like some of the longer runs he's done this week, he's beat to shit.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, I'm like, what's the plan for tomorrow? And he's like, I don't know, man. He's like, I feel like I'm going to die, like blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, if you were to run, what are you going to run? He's like, maybe 10 miles. I'm like, okay. How long would it take you to do 10 miles? He's like, maybe about a little under 2 hours. He's like, 11 miles would take me about 2 hours to the T. I'm like, sweet. I'm like, just do a 2-hour run. And I'm like, and run by feel. And so, and it's like, that was like my attempt. I'm now, my new like goal in life is to try and like change the way that runners are running.
Yeah.
Because
instead of hitting that number,
hold on, let me rephrase that.
Okay.
I want to change the way that recreational runners are running. Because I think for the average Joe and Jane, like there's better ways to go about it that are a little bit healthier and also a little less stressful on the body.
Right.
So that's what I want to do.
I to tap into that, I think that's been something that you've actually put into practice. I don't know whether you realize it or not, but like that's how you had me run when I was doing like the
assault runner stuff.
The assault runner stuff, or like you would say, go like, how long does it take you to run a mile? I would say like probably 10 minutes, and you'd be like, okay, go for a 10-minute or 10-minute run, see where you're at, go by feel. Or we would do the 30 on, 30 off, or 30 walk, 30 jog, 30 sprint, or whatever it was.
Oh, around the block?
Yeah, around the block, and then the air runners. Like, those were fun. Like, that was, like, but, like, the emphasis behind your statement was always, like, go by feel. Like, even if your sprint just feels like a run and your jog feels like a walk and your walk feels like a crawl, like, just keep moving.
Yeah. Okay, maybe I have. I don't know. I've kind of had this thought process about like CrossFit as well, on like how to go about like auto regulation. So auto regulation is just kind of a fun way to say like how can you manage your effort essentially based on feel. So some people like they use like RPE, right? Rate of perceived exertion, which is a weird scale of like 2 to 14 or something like that. I don't know why it's like that, but whatever. But with talking to one of my clients when we were talking about running, and they were asking more questions about like the way that I kind of planned my runs, again, which was just time and heart rate, with the occasional distance, like kind of time trial. But what I realized, which I didn't intentionally put into this, was there is already auto regulation put into this program. So if you are stressed, you don't sleep well. For everybody who's got a Whoop, might understand this. Other than just trying to self-masturbatorily say that they're on the grind, because they're not recovering. But
stay grinding,
baby. But if you don't get enough sleep, your eating's off, maybe you're dehydrated to some degree, you're stressed, whether that's like work, life, whatever the case is,
right.
This generally has an effect on your heart rate. So if you are in like a negative in any of those things that I just named, you generally have an increased resting heart rate. And then therefore you're going to have an increase in your working heart rate. So with the way that my stuff was planned is, if I was going into my runs with some sort of like stress, or I kind of dug myself into a little bit of like a training hole, then my heart rate would be higher. So when I would go out for my runs would have to be slower to meet like whatever heart rate that I had. So it kind of automatically forced me to run slower to maintain my heart rates. And then on days that I felt really good, or say I was recovered, then I might be able to run faster, because now I've kind of like gone over that curve of like, super compensation essentially for running. And so that was kind of like a weird mind-blowing thing that happened in my head, where I was like, oh shit, like there's a secondary interesting concept to running based off of heart rate, versus just getting the miles in.
Right. What's a good average resting heart rate?
Age changes that.
Yeah.
And then obviously fitness level will change that as well. But
right.
I think it's somewhere around like 60 to 70 is kind of like the good numbers.
Cool.
For the most part. I think as you age, the number tends to drop. You tend to have a lower resting heart rate, assuming no other like medical conditions.
Yeah.
If you're like very fit, right? So sometimes, usually like VO2 max will change that. Or if you have a higher VO2 max, you tend to have a lower resting heart rate. Usually endurance people tend to have very low resting heart rates just because their body's adapted.
Yeah.
Bigger heart, that type of thing.
I got a big heart.
A big heart.
No, but I think last time I checked, I think it was playing around 60 to 64. Just like calmly breathing and sitting back, and
yeah.
That's
usually pretty good. Like, I mean,
I was trying to get it below 60.
you're trying to force it to below 60.
Yeah, I was like taking bigger breaths and like slowly exhaling.
Yeah, you gotta do like box breathing to do that.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, so if you do like a 3-second or 4-second like inhale, like a 4-second pause, like 6-second exhale type of thing, that'll drop your heart rate real fast.
I probably don't want that.
Huh?
Like controlled though, right? You're not gonna just pass out.
No, you're not just gonna pass out.
Okay.
Like it doesn't. You start sleeping.
No. Although for sleep, I do do the big breaths, exhale, slow count, and then like that helps me when I'm trying to go to sleep. Is like, I guess box breathing, but like big deep breaths, exhale, hold, and then big deep breath. And
yeah, the box breathing just means like if you were to look at like a chart or a graph, essentially, it would be go, like, boop. Yep, like your inhale, the time is essentially like the up or like the inhale. So you like inhale, you see the line go up, like you hold, you see the line just kind of go across, and then down would be like the exhale, right? And that's just kind of the way that it's set. And you usually sometimes do like a hold at the exhale as well. Yeah. The other thing too is like, which I actually did a little bit today, was diaphragmatic breathing. So just breathing, essentially belly breathing.
I was trying to do that between the wall balls.
It's a little bit harder when you're under duress.
I was like,
but that's a very good practicing to have too, to like or like belly breathe.
Yeah.
So if you don't know how to do this, it's a very good thing to practice, because one, it also essentially de-stresses your body. So we have something called, so if you ever heard of HRV, right? It's essentially, HRV is heart rate variability, which essentially is the time between heartbeats So it's usually measured in like milliseconds. There's a bunch of ways to figure this out. I'm not going to get into that. But HRV is usually a symptom of like stress, right? So if you have like a higher HRV, your body is a little bit more stressed, but you can actually go through like a breathing, like a short breathing practice, and it can essentially reset your HRV or your stress level in your body to bring you into more of a relaxed state versus like the fight or flight. So that's like a really good thing to do, like pre-training as well. If you get like pre-whatever jitters, to like sit there somewhere, close your eyes, like focus, like put your hand on your stomach and focus on like pushing your stomach out, breathe, like pulling it back in, as you kind of just like slowly controlled breathe, can help set you up for success. Right?
I just
calm
poop.
the nerves.
I just get
Poop sometimes works too.
I just poop. But no, I think that's what helped me get through the last set of wall balls was like not the box breathing, but like the diaphragm breathing. Like I was taking in like bigger breaths through my stomach or through my diaphragm rather than just trying to breathe like through my lungs. So I was like I could feel it like go, okay, like we've got the air in, I can let it out and I'll take another breath. And that second breath is like, okay, we're back to life. Let's go pick up that ball.
Yeah. Well, even between rests, that's usually a really good thing. Like,
I definitely didn't do it in the snatches.
ooh, well,
I sat hunched over and like,
no, well, that's different. You're fine. It's a little bit of a different story, but the like breathing between workouts is, or like during exercise is an interesting one. Like you're probably for the most part not going to be able to belly breathe the entire time. Like
right.
At a certain point, you're gonna start chest breathing.
Mm-hmm.
The problem that comes in is when you are like aggressively chest breathing, and you'll see like people's like necks start to like fire up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something you kind of don't necessarily want because one, that tends to induce like a more of that like that fight or flight response.
Yeah.
So you tend to get more like amped up in a negative way.
Yeah.
And then two, you start getting all these accessory muscles to start firing for like to help breathe. So that's why sometimes like under like hard workouts, like after really hard workouts, sometimes people will be like, my collarbones are sore or like my neck is sore.
Yeah.
And that's because you've been like so aggressively chest breathing that these like extra muscles essentially overwork to get your like chest to expand.
I think I had that in my like younger days of CrossFit.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I was just like, my neck.
Yeah. And generally speaking, as people kind of go on, you tend to kind of learn how to breathe with the rhythm of the movements.
Yeah. Which is another crazy concept, right? You're learning how to breathe all over again.
Yes. And that's something that I think like I'm contemplating trying to figure out how to do like a workshop on that because I definitely notice a lot of people
Of no breathers?
either don't breathe or breathe at very inopportune times.
Yes.
Inopportune times.
Yes.
And then also the idea of just a rhythm to movements, because like a lot of the people that I've talked to that I've been working with that have issues with say like toe to bar, it's all a rhythm issue.
Yeah.
And it's not because they don't have the strength or the flexibility to do it. It's because they don't understand how to like move to make this happen.
Yes.
But of what I've also noticed, or definitely noticed, this applies to almost any movement that you're going to be doing that's repetitious. Rowing does it. If you're doing deadlifts has it. Like Olympic lifting
all
has it.
lifts
Like
have it, yeah.
and then any gymnastics thing, like there's a rhythm to the breathing for wall balls because wall balls have a natural rhythm to them. Everyone's
Yes.
is going to be ever so slightly different,
Right.
but like everybody has their own natural rhythm.
There is an up and a down.
Always. And like it's very interesting to kind of think about that. And then how can you effectively use your breath to one help you maintain rigidity in a movement
Yes.
while also like still getting the like oxygen in.
Double unders.
Double unders is one where I like so for me I continuously breathe. There is no holding my breath.
Yeah, same.
For double unders.
Same.
And double unders is already like an aggressive like skill to acquire. To then also try and like tack on breathing on top of it is a whole other beast to have. And I've working with a couple people trying to figure out double unders. I've also like wonder if it's even worth trying to talk about breathing in the early stages.
Probably not.
Rather than just like, let's get you to the skill itself, get comfortable with that. and then we'll talk about how to breathe during
I've
it.
found myself adjusting people's hands on the rope because they're all like death gripping near the ball, and I'm like, you gotta,
Or at the very end,
or at the tips, right? And I go, you gotta like place your thumb. Here's the bottom of your handle. Place your thumb, grab it from there, right? Now you have some control. Just do this.
When I do double unders, I notice that I pretty much only hold it with like my first 3 fingers, like my thumb, pointer, and middle finger.
For me, it's just this.
For the most part.
Yeah.
And then
I don't even do the 3. It's just
and like I think my middle finger is more of just like a placeholder.
Yeah.
And then most of the time like my pinky and ring finger like are barely touching
you're right.
the
Actually,
ring.
I think my middle finger like holds like maybe the butt of the handle, maybe, and I'm just like
yeah.
It's
really interesting. Like the fine details
right
of like some of these things that really do make a massive difference in your ability to perform.
I was teaching centrifugal force or centrifugal motion.
What?
Isn't it centrifugal force where the closer or the ball gets to? I forgot how to explain it, but
What are you trying to explain?
the way the ball and the cable work on the rope, if you have more tension closer to the ball, it will rotate less. Whereas if you grip it lower and have less tension towards the ball, it's allowed to whip faster.
Yeah, I think that's centrifugal. Because there's 2.
Yeah.
There's centrifugal and centripetal.
Definitely not centripetal. Centrifugal.
I think it's centrifugal.
Yeah.
Because that's effectively when you like spin a bucket of water.
Mm-hmm.
That's what keeps
the water
inside the bucket.
Yeah.
But it's and then centripetal is the opposite direction, which is a weird one.
Isn't it like just force in one direction?
No, because I think it's centripetal force is what will like if you ever hold a candle.
Yeah.
So if you hold a candle at arm's length and you spin around, keeping it at arm's length, and you can look at the candle, the flame of the candle will tilt in towards you, which seems like it would go in the opposite direction. But I'm a little late on my physics, so it's been a while since I've studied physics, so I don't remember exactly like the reasons behind that. But yeah, there's a weird counterforce to that.
Huh.
Yeah, if you want like a weird experiment to try at
Just
home,
grab a candle.
yeah, light a candle. You don't have to go fast, but just kind of like slowly like spin in place, and you'll notice that the flame leans towards you.
That's crazy, huh? I would think it would go. Its tailwind would pull it in the direction of like whatever way you're turning.
There. Let's see if I remember this. Mark Rober, who's like one of the science YouTubers, did a video similar to this, and it was with a balloon in a car. So there's a balloon with helium taped to the floor of a car, and so when you would drive, the question was, would the balloon go backwards towards the back as you drove, kind of like you getting sucked into your seat, or
forward?
Would it drive forward? And if I remember this correctly, the balloon goes forward.
I would imagine it goes forward though, because it's a floating object, and the car is actually the one moving. The balloon is not, right? So the force applied is forward, which means, the force applied would be backwards if the motion is forward, right? So then the balloon is just a floating inanimate object. Therefore, it would lean forward because it's moving with the car rather than the force being applied.
Well, no. Well, the balloon's on a string. Sorry if I didn't make that clear. The balloon's on a string.
Got it.
So if
Never
you were
mind.
that
Debunked.
Yeah.
Myth busted.
Yeah. So that was the question of like, would it drive if you drove forward? Would it go towards the drive, like the front of the car, or would it go towards the back of the car? And if I remember correctly, it went towards the front of the car.
Interesting.
And I don't remember the counter movements as to why that's the case, but something along those lines. Watch the video. I find all of his shit very interesting. Mark Rober, good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What were we talking about? Breathing
Breathing
jump ropes.
helium. Oh yeah, jump ropes.
Oh, speaking of helium.
Yes.
So, right. So you know how you inhale a bunch of helium,
Your
voice goes
high.
up.
Yeah.
Right. So there's something else that you can get. And I don't know if I've ever showed this to you. So it's something called sulfur hexafluoride. It's an inert gas. It's used for like industrial shit, but it doesn't react to anything.
I don't think so.
But it's denser than air.
Mm-hmm.
And so you breathe in like a balloon full of this,
And it goes down.
and your voice drops like significantly.
Damn.
And it's so weird to hear it done. When I was in high school, my my chemistry teacher was awesome, and I remember like learning about this, and I was like, "Can we get some just to like mess around with this?" And he was like, "No, like
I'm
can't."
not being liable for that.
I mean, we did it all the time with like helium because it was fun. But like, yeah, it was interesting. Like, what you can watch the videos. It's sulfur hexafluoride, and just I think Ellen DeGeneres did it like on her show at one point in time. Like, it's not a dangerous gas. Like, it's inert.
I feel like nitrous also does the deeper voice thing.
No, nitrous is, well, no, it would be. Is it denser than air?
Because, like, when Dum Dum does it, his voice drops.
Well, that's also because he's, like, wildly relaxed. Because you get all fucked up from it.
But, like, you can hear it. Like, it's normal, and then, like, he'll do it and be like,
Maybe. It might be.
maybe.
Is what nitrous oxide is NO3?
Is it? What's NO2?
Is that nitric oxide, which is the acid?
Oh. Yeah, he don't do that.
No, because that would kill you.
Yeah.
Nitric acid is a very powerful organic acid, or not organic acid, but acid that will dissolve organic things like skin and shit.
The one you saw in Breaking Bad? No, that's sulfuric acid.
No, it's nitric acid.
Oh, nitric acid.
Sulfuric acid do the same thing, but it's not quite as powerful.
It would take longer.
Yes.
In a bathtub.
In a bathtub, yeah, because
But it doesn't react to rubber, apparently.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's acids are so fucking weird,
Right?
So we used
They will eat through everything.
not all.
Right.
So their properties are so funky. God, chemistry is awesome. So like, so there's certain acids, and I can't remember what they are, but like some of them have to be kept in glass.
Oh, I remember we had this conversation.
Some have to be kept in plastic.
Yes.
Right. There's certain like elements that have to be kept underwater.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and some have to be completely dry.
Yep.
Because they'll react to like moisture.
Potassium.
Yes, potassium will react to water. So will sulfur, or sorry, phosphorus. But like, is it yellow phosphorus? Reacts to air, so you have to keep that in water.
Jesus.
Yeah, because of that, they're just weird properties. But yeah, like there's a bunch of different like.
So do they create yellow phosphorus underwater then? How does that naturally occur?
Yeah, I think so. Don't quote me on this one because I'm not 100% sure.
Right, I'm going to quote you on it.
I don't remember exactly.
Take it to the
I don't remember the
Science
process.
Institute.
The Science Institute.
Yeah.
I'm going to report you to the higher authorities of science, of chemistry. But what my guess is how it's made is that it's a precipitate, which means you think of a solution, which would just be like a liquid. You do your mixin, your alchemy, and whatever like a precipitate is essentially something that would like a solid that can be formed out of a liquid. So yeah. So my guess is that that's what happens, and then it probably just gets washed, and then transferred to that. Because it's not so much that it immediately would just like react with air. It likely has to be dry. It doesn't just spontaneously combust.
Right.
I think. But anyway, with like acids, like it's crazy. Like there's a bunch of different like strengths and weaknesses to like acids and bases, and how like what they might destroy and what they won't. So like one of my favorite acid, because I'm a nerd, is called aqua regia.
Aqua regia.
Yeah. Which is, it's one of the only acids, which I think it's a combination of nitric and, I should know this now that I just said it's my favorite. I liked the term. Nitric acid and something else. It's a mixture. No.
Regia.
No.
Aqua regia.
Aqua regia is Latin for royal water.
Oh, never mind. So crown.
So it's called royal water because it's one of the few that will dissolve like precious metals.
Oh shit.
And gold being one of them.
That's crazy.
So there's like these stories of people dissolving like during like World War II that would like dissolve their gold in fear of like the Nazis coming in and taking their shit, and would see these just like things of jars of liquid.
Yeah.
And like think nothing of it.
Right.
But essentially through a fairly simple process, you can reconstitute the gold out of this like acid solution and just have your gold back.
That's nuts. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah. So anyway, it's called royal water. It was it's been around for a long time. It's been known about that since like alchemy days because there's a I actually have Marissa got me this print of so back in alchemy days there was this I think he was this French monk.
Nicholas Flamel.
No.
Damn it.
I don't remember his name, but in one of his like alchemy books, he essentially wrote or like created these like designs to explain these like different properties of alchemy. And so there's one that's this like it's like a knight and a dragon and all this stuff as like the alchemic symbol for like aqua regia. Or a painting of aqua regia. And then that little like triangle R thing that I have.
Yeah.
Or that I showed you before.
Yeah.
That's like the symbol, the alchemic symbol for aqua regia.
Okay.
AKA royal water.
That should be you should start a drink, protein water or a...
Protein water?
Yeah.
They used to have those things.
Aqua regia.
Yeah, the Isopure. You remember those?
Not really.
So Isopure, I don't...
Bring it back.
No.
Oh.
One, it's like, it's a fairly standard protein.
Protein.
I forget what version of it's protein isolate. But it all tasted like ass.
I'm sure.
And it was so gross and it didn't mix all that well. And it was like $90 for like a 2-pound tub.
Jesus.
It was so expensive. But then they made like the Isopure drinks, which were super popular for like a long while. But it like, because it doesn't dissolve all that well, it was like super chalky.
Ugh.
And it was like the least refreshing thing you could possibly drink.
After a workout.
After a workout, yeah, because you're like, you feel it like on your tongue. It like kind of like coats your mouth. It was horrible.
Sounds disgusting.
So like when I used to work for GNC, people would be like, Isopure is the good brand, right? And I was like, no.
Nah, it's not.
I'm like, if you want to spend $90, go for it because it gives me a better commission. And I'll get money off of that.
Yeah.
I'm like, but in reality, just go buy one of these ones because it's a waste. It was such a waste. Fuck, what's it? Hold on, I gotta look this up because it's gonna bother me.
Nicholas Flamel.
It's not Flamel.
How do you know it's not Nicholas Flamel?
Because I know the name. I know what the name is not. Nitric acid and hydrochloric acid. Hydrofluoric acid is also very what's it called?
Combustible?
No, not combustible. None of them are combustible. Is also a very strong organic solvent, if you will. I think hydrofluoric acid is one of the like more aggressive acids that you can find. Okay. And then last thing that I wanted to say was R.I.P. Louis Simmons.
Oh, yes.
Our
weightlifting founder.
Founder of Westside Barbell, a game changer in the way that we look at training, kind of the creator of the conjugate method. All right, dynamic days, brought sleds into the pop culture of training.
I want to train with more sleds.
Implements.
But yeah.
Yeah. It passed away.
R.I.P.
And it kind of sucks. Like, it sucks a lot because a lot of the people who were kind of founders of, not even founders, but the not trendsetters? No. What is the word that I'm looking for? Like,
initiators?
Yeah, people who like paved the way for like strength training in a lot of the things that we know of today.
Yeah.
Are kind of like slowly making their way out.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. I mean, those people they're getting older. But it sucks to like see that go. And yeah, I think for those of you that are familiar with him or have ever had a chance to like meet him or ever, which I thankfully did, had the chance to like see him as a coach or coach you or just coach in general. It was pretty wild, pretty powerful, and really, really like profound is like, I'm using a lot of really strong words, kind of not necessarily, but I guess to some degree, it's truly how I feel about the situation.
Yeah.
And Yeah, sucks. but for those of you familiar, like you would also be able to appreciate kind of like the change that he made on essentially the things that we know today. A lot of what we know today about like training plans with powerlifting for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was kind of like, what was it? He was always constantly like known for. He's also known for having very aggressive opinions on his way, kind of over the highway. But he had the experience and the accolades behind him of all of the people that he's worked with over the dozens of years to back up his aggressive views.
Yeah.
He's kind of like Mike Boyle in that regard. He's like, no, I don't care what your textbooks say. I've seen it work thousands of times.
It works.
It works. But yeah, I was fortunate enough to back in the day in Chicago. We used to have like the annex is what we call it. One of the annex that we called it, which was like the powerlifting side of the gym.
Yeah.
That pretty much followed like the conjugate method. It's a wildly strong dude sitting back there. But yeah, at one point, Louis made his way through and did a seminar about that.
That was at like the backside of CrossFit Chicago, right?
No, there was another side room. CrossFit Chicago was
so
huge. Much bigger than most people knew.
I just remember the main the front room's the CrossFit, then there's where the bikes and rowers were in like the med balls and foam rollers, and there's a bathroom, and then like you go through, there's like the office, and then there was another room in the back.
Another giant room in the back.
It was huge.
There was also like a room up top, like in the middle of all of those.
Yes.
But then there was another room within that building.
Jesus.
That was just the weightlifting stuff or the powerlifting stuff. So it was all like conjugate.
Wow.
Yeah. It was wild, man. That place was monstrous. Rip. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to kind of throw that little bit out there. And
rest in peace, Louis.
yeah, if you ever get a chance, I would highly recommend, maybe one day we'll talk a little bit about the conjugate method and I guess some of the things that Louis has brought to the table for health and fitness.
Yeah.
Or I guess fitness. Not so much health. Or strength, I should say.
Strength.
That would be the better way to describe it. But yeah, these dudes are aging, and it's kind of sucks to see a lot of these people start making their way out. So, anyway, rip Louis.
Rip Louis.
Rest in power.
Literal power.
Literal strength and power. But anyway, that being said, anything else you want to add?
I got nothing.
All right.
I said my piece.
You've made your peace. Fuck Jib Guy.
Fuck Jib Guy.
All right, Eric, where can people find us?
You guys can find us on our Instagram at another_rep_podcast, and you can email us at anotherreppodcast@gmail.com.
And you can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts.
We haven't done that in a while, and we nailed it.
And occasionally Twitch.
We haven't done that in a while.
Also haven't done that in a while. I've been busy, man. I can't help it.
You and me both, man. You and me both. Also, probably nobody wants to watch what I'm streaming, so.
Maybe. Who knows?
Lost Ark is boring.
Yeah, and I'm not that good at Rocket League. I'm getting better.
I would say you've definitely gotten better since I first started watching you play Rocket League.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Like, yeah. Leaps and bounds better.
I am finally steadily within the platinum ranking,
Attaboy.
which is not that high.
Yeah.
But I'm like a solid plat 2. Hopefully this season of Rocket League, I would like to get into maybe like
Diamond?
get into like the diamond. Like maybe mid diamond would be awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe champ, who knows?
Oof.
But that's a stretch.
Oof.
All right, that's a big one.
You start getting signed by pros.
Not even close. I was trying to explain to somebody like how difficult Rocket League is. And it's like one of the few games that like really has so much that you have to like learn.
Yeah.
And it's just car soccer. Like that's all it is. But holy shit.
But controlling that car.
Holy shit, is it complicated.
Yeah.
Like I cannot stress how complicated that goddamn game is. And so like there's ranking systems, right? It's like bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, champ, and then there's grand champ, and then there's SSL, which is supersonic legend.
Got it.
And so that's like the peak level. But even then, at the peak level of this game, which people put like thousands of hours in to get to that point, then you have pros. And like the skill gap between like the best players and then the professionals is so mind blowing. But I was like trying to explain to somebody what that is. So I was like, think of like, the hard part is most people don't even understand how good pros are, like professional, real sport athletes, if you will. So like, I'm like, LeBron James is the pro. I'm like, and then like, think of like working your way down to like, say my level would probably be somewhere akin to like a really, really good high school player. And like a really, really good college player who doesn't make the pros would be like an SSL.
Wow.
I would say. And then you have the pros.
Yeah.
Maybe like an SSL is like NBA, and then like the outliers, the ones who are like just freakishly good, would be like the pros. It's crazy to me. And if you just don't understand, if you've never like played the game or like put any level of time into the game to try and like you just have, it's hard to conceptualize how hard this goddamn game is.
Yeah.
I think that's why I've been playing it so much too.
You do like a challenge.
Yeah, it's like, and it's fun too, because you can also like actively see your progress happen that you don't like, which I used to you get in like, say like Call of Duty or stuff like that, when you're like, oh, you're like learning the maps, you're learning like where people like spawn locations, you're actually like learning like how to move the character around, and you know, how to aim and like how to shoot and blah, blah, blah. So like there's like skill to be learned in almost every game, but like I do not agree that it compares in any way to like Rocket League, because I once was very, very good at Call of Duty back in the day.
God, I remember those back in the days.
This was like
used to be really good.
Like Black Ops 2.
Now I'm just okay.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah. But okay, cool. Anyway, anything else?
Fuck Jib Guy.
Fuck Jib Guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.